So I actually started my career in the US government working for the United States Agency for International Development. And I spent 4 years working on malaria control in West Africa. While I was in grad school, I'm a development economist by training. I worked for the World Bank on issues related to female entrepreneurship. And then before coming to Facebook, I actually spent some time working again in the federal government at the Department of Commerce on open data policy and implementation. And I think it's really important that no matter where we work, whether or not we're in the tech sector or in the public sector, that we're bringing to bear the world's richest data sets to solve some of the major humanitarian issues that we face and the major sort of social issues that we face around the world. And that's the mission of the Data for Good team. We're trying to build privacy preserving data products using rich data from not only Facebook platform sources, but also just commercially and publicly available sources. Because in addition to Facebook being a really powerful platform for data sharing, we also have really powerful AI capability. And so we're bringing all of that to bear to hopefully share data sets that help combat coronavirus, help make progress on things like climate change, and help better respond to natural disasters. We built business activity trends as a data set in partnership with University of Bristol, who actually conducted their own independent research over a year ago that was published in the journal Nature. And what they found using public post data on Facebook business pages was that the rate of posting on Facebook by small businesses around the world was a really interesting reflection of major crises going on. So what they found during major natural disasters was that posting activity in an area hit by something like a typhoon or a hurricane went way down. And so during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we saw so many businesses around the world be affected by things like local lockdown orders or stay-at-home policies, or even specific policies around indoor dining being closed, we thought that around the world, Facebook data could prove a really valuable input into better understanding the economic recovery of small businesses around the world. And so we built this data set and the corresponding visualization around trends related to the rate at which small businesses on Facebook are posting by sector at a county level. And we're sharing that data in visualized format now so that at a state level, at a county level, chambers of commerce and other agencies that are trying to support the economic recovery of small businesses have insights in real time about the level of online activity they show. I think that there are multiple audiences that we envision, but we're launching this dashboard publicly because we also want to make sure that it's widely available to anyone who could use it. I think primarily the audience that would probably be most well positioned to make use of this data are sort of local chambers of commerce and economic researchers who are trying to use real-time non-traditional data to figure out if there are ways that we can recover our economy more quickly. I think historically speaking, it's actually very difficult to understand what's going on in the economy on a day-to-day basis. We often have lagging indicators through things like the jobs report or lots of sort of traditional surveys of a sample of small businesses across the United States to tell us what the health of the economy is. But it can be very difficult to get updated daily information at scale around the state of small businesses. And so by leveraging Facebook and our many billions of users across the world and the 200 million businesses around the world that use our platform, if we can aggregate this data in a real-time way and share that out with whether or not it's economists or again, nonprofits that are searching to support small business communities around the world, hopefully we can create a new source of data that better tailors how we support these communities and helps us better understand the economy in real time. There are a couple of examples that we're very proud of in recent history. One is around mobility data. So this is probably known quite well to data nerds like me, but if you're not a data nerd, or even if you are, it's been really quite transformative to see the role that mobility data has played in the last year in the pandemic response. So when we're talking about mobility data, we're talking about if you use any sort of app that uses location information on your mobile phone. If you opt in to share that, all of those signals from GPS coordinates can be aggregated to create a picture of basically population movement. And because before vaccines were rolled out for COVID-19, the only major tools in the toolbox we had for COVID-19 prevention were stay home and wear a mask. And unfortunately, public health systems didn't really have good ways to measure whether or not either one of those things were happening. And so we're really proud that Facebook has contributed publicly available and differentially private mobility data for over 150 countries around the world that's been in use by dozens and dozens of governments to monitor whether or not their lockdowns are actually working. And we're really proud to have played a role in pretty significant global policy development on that front. And then I think one other thing that's cool is that very few people know this, but Facebook has actually built the world's most accurate population density maps in the world. We don't do this with Facebook data. We actually use satellite imagery and census information to create these population density maps. And because population data is so important for pretty much every social intervention you can think of, they've been used in the last year to serve as the backbone for the National Rural Electrification Plan of Rwanda. They've been used extensively now in Malawi to help groups like World Vision and also a social enterprise called Baseflow to figure out the national sort of water point system in Malawi and how you invest over the next 10 years in getting that whole country clean water. So I think those are two areas where our data has been used a great deal. And we hope in terms of this newest business data set that we see similar scale and impact over the next months and years to come. We would love to partner with any economists who are working in the South Carolina area to better understand how this data might be put to good use to benefit the business community locally. So if you're interested in working with our team, please email us at dataforgood@fb.com. You can also visit our website, which is dataforgood.fb.com. We have many tools that are fully publicly available, and we welcome new partners all the time.